Hello there, welcome to another Ramble review, and today we're looking at Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves. I'm just gonna say the basic gameplay of this game and the fighting. Fuck. Hello there, welcome to the Ramble review, and today we're looking at Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves. This is a little different since I don't really do fighting games a lot, so I'm going to handle this as I'm just talking about the bare basics of the combat and then go into everything else. So the combat is your typical 2D fighter. The big thing here is the rev system. It's this little meter you see if you're on the left hand side, you'll be like the lower corner of the screen, lower left hand corner. And you have, of course, your attack, your punch, kicks, the different versions of it, the light, medium, and heavy. And then the rev meter comes into play. We don't do basically the EX versions of certain specials, which are more stronger versions, and they could be also faster, which helps to connect to other moves than the other versions of said specials. The other thing that rev comes into play is when it comes to the SPG. That's a meter you pick to either have at the beginning of your health bar in the match, the middle, or the end. The SPG, when it's activated, it increases your strength, and it also allows you to do another special rev meter move, which is like this green glow move, which could actually suck up like physical attacks. So if you pull it off and someone punches, they're going to get smacked by you, and depending on the situation, they can either get sent across the screen or can even get stunned, allowing you to continue with another move. So yeah, it's a pretty dangerous move, but that move is only available when you have SPG on. If you lose all your health, that makes HP go away. You cannot use that green rev move anymore. You also can't, because there's also the stars in the corner, which can activate your level. You can usually have two specials. Each has a level 1 or a level 2 of it, and there's a super duper special. It's this big cutscene. It's pretty damn cool looking and does massive damage. But again, it can only be done if your SPG is on. If it's not on, that super ultra move is out of your reach, and you just stuck with your regular special moves and your super moves. Like that's about it. But the drawback to the rev, if you try to use it too much, this is how they kind of balance it. Because if you can just use it all you want, there'll probably be a lot of touch of death moments, or you just get at least near death moments if it wasn't like this. If you use it too much by doing too many rev specials or that green glow rev that I showed already, it burns you out. And what this burnout does, it makes it that if you try to block, it's easy to crush your block, leaving you open for more attack. Or it could also it also leads into if you're in that burnout thing, you can't do any rev related stuff at all. No EX versions of specials, anything like that at all. Like those are dead to you. So it weakens you, not too overly ridiculously wise, but it still like lessens your tools. So the main like combat in this game is learning how to balance your rev meter so you don't burn yourself out, and your SPG meter so you could get the most out of your attacks. Now I'm gonna touch on single player and multiplayer. Single player, I'm gonna first go through the more basic thing, which is the arcade mode. The arcade setup is Geese Howard is dead and his inheritance is left around still, and someone has put it up in a tournament for a fight to see if anyone could win it. Some people are going for said inheritance, but other people are joining the tournament for their other reasons as well. Like Tizak is joining it to prove himself to his fans that he felt he failed and stuff like that. So that and each arcade run has a beginning cutscene, a rival fight cutscene, and then the ending cutscene against whatever boss it is at the end. These cutscenes are fully voiced, and it's drawings, but it's kind of like manga type like style. Like they even have like the battle words like whoosh and stuff like that. It's of course people will always prefer in-game engine cutscenes, but these are pretty nice too. Like they're not ugly looking or anything like that. So that's the basic setup for the arcade. You do some fights, you get your beginning, your rivals, and your end, and then you move on to the next character. The other single player mode is episodes of Southtown, which are basically you could again pick all the characters you want, and each of them have their own little story to it. Like T-Sock is trying to learn other fighting styles, or one of the new faces in this game, Preacher. She has a ghost stuck on her, and she's trying her out to get rid of the ghost. So these are a little more, I guess, like out there, a little more funny, show a little more personality. I'm not sure if it's before or after the arcade ending, or even connected to it in any way at all. But whatever. Episode of Southtown setup is you pick who you want to pick, and then you have to unlock 3 sections of the map. And to unlock the sections, you gotta do some fights, and you actually level up during these said fights, which allows you to put more skills. There's skills you can unlock by getting to a certain point with each character for episodes of Southtown. And these skills are basically regen after every round. You hit harder, grabs hit harder. Like there's a giant list, and it'll show you basically everything, and they'll show you how to get it too. So you're not kind of like, if you really want a certain one, you could go for that characters and just get there. So you could so you can get that specific skill. And yes, the fights are usually just the one-on-one fights. Some are against characters from the base game itself. Sometimes it's like characters they made specifically for this mode, like random ninja lady or random biker dude. But they have their movesets are from characters who are not in this game, so it's kind of cool seeing it because maybe it's a hint, and maybe they could show up in like a season pass or something like that. But yeah, so that's basically it. Sometimes it'll be one-on-one. Sometimes it'll be a gauntlet fight, and they could also have their own skills. So they could hit harder, a specific way, have more health, so on and so forth. And usually, how it is the game points you to what to do, and then you have the cutscene in this is in the form of just all text. It's all text you read. Even inner monologues is text. None of it is voice. It kind of sucks. But like I said, you do get I think I said you get like a cutscene before the episode sometimes starts. So at least you get that, like the cutscenes like in the arcade mode, like something like that. And again, and when you're fighting these, when you have to pick a little mission or whatever, and each has a level to it too. So since you're leveling up, so like if you're level 1 and you try to take on level 6, it's gonna be way harder than you try and take on something a little lower. So that's why the level system is there too, to show your limit. You could try doing a harder one, but there's a chance you're gonna lose. I will say though that most of the episode of Southtown is pretty easy. Like I was able to take down things like 10 levels ahead of myself, and I'm no fighting game master. So it's it's not too ridiculously hard if you try to go like that. But it's the level things there just to let you know that it's gonna be there's a chance you might have trouble. But yeah, like when you pick it, it actually shows the stage, a little background on the stage as well, and even art styles of like the older version of the stage if there was one, and even characters comment on the stage too. You can see the text too, which is a nice little touch. Another reason you're doing this is unlocks. When you're doing this, you unlock more artwork. You actually do unlock special conversations between certain characters, which are voiced, which you can go check out. And in the section that has like all the movies and everything and cutscenes and stuff, you can see it that way. And again, you start with a cutscene and you also end with one as well. So it's pretty. This is a good. I say like for a single player wise, this game it's not really that bad. I've only done it with T-Zoc, and I'm like halfway with Preacher. But yeah, it's not a bad way to waste the time, especially if you wanted to see more of the character's personality and just a side story for them. And what's also pretty cool is what they added later on. It's in the game now. Is there's a whatever you do outside the mode, you get XP still for said mode. So say you just want you're a completionist and you want to do everyone's, but there's some characters you just don't give a crap about. You could actually just gain XP in general while just playing any other type of mode in the game, and level them up real fast if you wanted to get through um, the first version of South episodes of Southtown. And mentioning the first version, there is basically like a harder version of episodes of Southtown after you beat it. Uh, and this one actually feels a little bit harder. Like I was actually getting beat up trying to go against something that was like 5 levels ahead of me. So this one has a little bit more bite to it. The I guess New Game Plus version of episodes of Southtown, and is only pops up after you beat the first version with any with the character. So right now, like I can only do it with T-Sock, but if I finish anyone else, it'll open for them as well, and therefore and so on and so forth. There's also like a bottle a bottle breaking, I believe, mini game that you could do that again, unlock some artwork and stuff like that as well. It's part of the episodes of Southtown. That's something else you could check out. That aside, there's also the usual modes. You got your training mode, you got tutorial mode that tells you basically everything about all the mechanics. You have your mission mode, which are all combo basically missions. And for someone who's seen like King of Fighter combo missions, these are way easier. I usually suck at these, and I was able to do a decent amount of them. So these are pretty forgiving. If you hate these, but you still want to do them for completion's sake, they aren't too tough compared to like the other fighting games out there. Even with in SNK stuff like with the King of Fighters. Now with the online, you have your ranked, you have your casual, and you can make a lobby. So you got those three options, and it's crossplay as well. You can activate it on and off. I suggest put it on, as much players as possible as you can do. I've only played ranked matches, and from my experience, I played a good amount of matches. Maybe one or two were laggy. Majority of them were smooth as hell. And yeah, and I kept playing. I played a lot of online matches. It might not show it with my how many matches I played in the game because they kind of reset it recently, because I know I played more matches than what they said I have here. So yeah, that's basically the online function. Of course, you can pick your border. You can pick which character you want. You can pick where the SPG is, what color costume is. And I'll get to more of that in a little bit. And then you have, it's basically it's the most like it's simple online stuff. Everything works perfectly fine. Like I said, I barely ran into laggy matches. Even though I was getting my ass beat a bunch of times, since I usually pick T-Sock, and he is pretty much in the bottom. It still was fun to play these matches online. But yes, as I mentioned, the color, there's also a color edit mode, which is really simple, which is a good thing. It's nothing too hard to understand. You can change their hair, their eyes, and then of course you have the outfits, which is usually I touched. And I made a few costumes for T-Sock. I made a king, I made an Undertaker, I made my own one, and I even made freaking for like Christmas. So you've probably seen a lot of footage of that, like Christmas themed costumes I made too for some of the characters. And it's really fun to do, and you could save a good amount of costumes as well. There's a bunch of save slots you could pick that you could have. So I don't think that you won't feel like, oh man, I don't have enough. Nah, there's a good amount of costumes you can make for each character. For the roster itself, I should have said this in the beginning, since the roster is pretty important in a fighting game. It's I believe 16 or 17 for the base roster. And the two new faces are Preacher and Vox Reaper. Everyone else is from the basically from the last Wolves game. So you see a lot of returning faces in this one. And then you have the season pass. And this is actually free with the game. Even now, I think you didn't need to buy the deluxe version for it. I think even now you buy the game, you still get the first season pass for free, which increases the character amount by 5. And it's Andy, it's Joe, it's Ken, it's Chung Lee, and it's Mr. Big. It's 5 characters that are in the season pass. All of them are already, and they actually announced the season pass 2. They haven't announced the characters, but season pass 2 is indeed coming. And I think the roster pretty is a pretty good is a yeah. I think the roster is pretty damn good. Of course, there was a controversial two characters based on a soccer player, football, whatever you want to fucking call it, and this another real life DJ guy. I don't give a shit about either of those characters. I personally do feel like they were a waste of a slot, but it is what it is. The other characters are just fine, like and the DLC made up for it as well. So far, I have about like 20 plus hours on this game, and a lot of that was online. Like, I didn't do a lot of the episodes of Southtown for a lot of the characters. Like I said, I only did T-Zox, and like right now, I'm in the middle of doing Preachers. But yeah, like I spent a lot of time playing online, and that's again 20 plus hours I have in the game. Maybe like I don't know, maybe 5 hours or less is to the episodes of Southtown. But even though that aside, I still feel like the single player content is pretty okay in this. If you're a person who doesn't give a shit about like fighting online a bunch of times, just to dabble it. Even me, I dabble mainly online too in fighting games, and sometimes I get hooked like in this one. But most of the time, I just kind of just dabble in it, and I'm really focused on single player stuff. I think it's pretty okay content. Again, you have the episodes of Southtown, which is a mini story for each character in the game, and for the DLC characters. So when they come in, they get their own shit too. So it's not like they're like left in the dust or anything like that. They're there as well. So if when they keep adding more characters, I'm assuming from the season pass 2, they're gonna get their own episodes of Southtown 2 and everything. And then you also got the arcade as well, which again, the DLC characters get their stuff for that as well. So I do feel like it's a pretty okay amount of single player content. You'll at least get like I don't know, I guess like probably 20 hours or something out of it, depending. Uh, I'm spitballing with that one, but I think you still get a decent amount of content, and the game like right now is like on sale here and there, so you'll get your money's worth with this game with the content it has for single player alone, and then there's the online stuff if you want to dabble in that. So yeah, like I still enjoy this. I still pop it in and everything, and I still find matches pretty damn fast as well with the cross play and everything. And like I said, I don't have like online issues really. And then there's I'm still not finished with the single player stuff. There's still a bunch right there as well. So I'm getting a lot out of it. I'm really enjoying the game. So yeah, I think it's worth it. Even if you never played a Fate of Fury game before in your life, or you didn't even play the last Wolves game before, um, I think this is a fine jump in. And also when it comes to like the look of the game, you can see they had way more budget for this game compared to their other games. Like if you look at the most like recent King of Fighters and you look at this, it's a big ass leap. They put a lot. If you could feel the money, you can see the money on the screen. The art style is great. When you do the supers, especially the ultras, it looks fantastic. I love the fact they actually have a dub in this. That's rare for these games, like SNK games. It's rare to have a dub for their fighting games. So that was also a game, and the English voice acting is really good as well. If you're not a fan of it, you can always switch it to the Japanese if you want. But yeah, so like look wise, I remember one person saying, "Oh, it looks like a PS3 game or something like that." I'm like, no, this is a big improvement. It looks fantastic. So yeah, I hope you didn't mind my ramble. And for gamer's sake, keep gaming.